If it takes me out, that's fine. I'll look for something else. Okay, so there's my stop. Now I'm going to watch to see if it wants to trade into that inefficiency on regular trading hours. And then if we get above that midnight open, I'm going to watch that as well. All right, so I'm going to give a short entry in NASDAQ one more stab at it with half risk, reduced risk. So instead of 10 micros, I'm going in with 5. And this will be my final attempt at it today. And if I'm wrong, then I'll just accept the fact that I'm wrong and NASDAQ wants higher prices. I'm going to take these off because they're a little distracting. So that first loss, it was like $800. So sell side, that'll put me up around 1100. Taking a partial with half risk. I have to see if it gives me an opportunity to pyramid. But if I don't pyramid a position, then taking a partial really isn't going to do much for me with only 5 micros on. I'll just hold for the sell side if I can get it. And I'm using the low, that fair value gap, as my entry. A little bit of a tricky morning. Just a tad bit. ES and Dow, while they don't look crazy bearish, they're making lower lows, but I'm not seeing the speed that I normally like to see in other markets. Like underneath short-term lows, for instance, like this here, that low. Yes, we traded beneath it, but it's just shallow little wicks. Whenever we form short-term lows like this here, or like this one here, that's when I want to see a lot of speed through them. And that's when I feel comfortable pyramiding. That's when I feel comfortable trailing my stop. But if it's ever just a shallow wick like this, that's not the signature I'm waiting for. I like how ICT refers to them as black limousines. Black down close candles, long outstretched expanded candles underneath these short-term lows. That's what I like to see, not shallow wicks. That's not what I like to see. So I'm looking for stuff like that in price action. And even in ES and Dow, I'm not really seeing that either. So that's really the only thing that's kind of making me weary. Now the position is already reduced in the sense that I put on half risk. So I'm not going to tiptoe around it and try to close the position early or do anything like that. I'm just going to submit to it. But I'm looking for things that suggest it wants to go lower. And one of the main things I look for is, are we getting speed underneath short-term lows and not just wicking under them and then retracing back into whatever range is in place. All right, let me see. I'm down 980 which comes in just underneath that short-term low. We'll do this. I'm only short 5 micros. I'm gonna take off 4 at that 8:30 opening price, and then let the last contract run to see if I can get that ATM auto sell side. But I'm low-key over this one, I'm not gonna lie. So I like the displacement underneath that low. I want to see how we close, and then I feel confident moving my stop loss. There we go. That is what I'm waiting for. So let's go ahead and remove that to break even. That's what I was looking for. And then if that partial gets hit, that's not going to erase all the drawdown from the first trade. It's going to erase like 90%. But, you know, it is what it is. S&P displacing lower. I like that. The Dow displacing lower, taking out its 950 lows, digging deeper into its current new week opening gap. So I like that in Dow. I'm watching these 2 down close candles. If we stay below that, treat that as a breaker, because we have a high, then we formed a low, and then we trade higher aggressively, clearing out the buy stops. So we have a fair value gap here, which we can trade into. I like for that to stay open. That would be a sign of strength. Treat it as a breakaway gap. We had this long drawn out consolidation, then we slam lower aggressively. For strength, I like that to stay open. But this breaker is what I'm watching. Can we stay inside of that range? So breaker to sell side, that's what I'm observing. Can the low of the breaker take us into the 8:30 open and then the sell side? Longest trade I've been in. The longest trade I've been in was a final hour macro trade. No, it was a PM session trade, but it took me through the final hour. And there we go. Partial hit. And I am now only down $98 on the day. And I'm going to lock that in with that right there. So worst case scenario, I finish up $5 on the day. Best case scenario, I finish around $400 on the day or so. But longest trade I've been in was in the PM session. And I got in a trade at around, I don't know, like 2 o'clock. It's on YouTube. I forgot the title. And I held all the way through like the final hour macro, like 3:15, 3:45. Which is why I don't know how people swing trade, because like, I don't know how they do it. And I feel like obviously I feel like I'm disciplined and patient, but swing trading is just, like, I don't know how they do it. Like having a position open for that long. And I don't know how people go to sleep with positions on. Like, how do you sleep at night? Especially like in this climate when we got WAR stuff going on, and people are just like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't be able to close my eyes at night knowing I have an open position on, and then the gap risk. But longest trade was probably like 2 hours, which, saying that out loud, that's really not long in the grand scheme of things. But for a scalper who trades sessions, to me, that's a pretty long trade. Now, this is important. This is something that I would do. I only have one micro on, so I can't do it. But this here would be a partial. Once we trade it underneath the low right there, if I had more than one micro on, I'm paying myself there. And then you would hold out for the sell side. That's just called running down your equity, and you're not demanding your best case scenario. So we form a short-term low, we move away, there's sell stops being generated underneath that low. We trade into the breaker, come back down, take a micro off. But obviously I can't do that. But little teaching point, that's something you want to practice. Running down equity is what it's called. You're scaling out underneath lows. And there she goes. So that is the business. Previous loss recouped. Long stream, not the most exciting, but there's a lot of teaching points in this one. Again, you can see the benefits of taking a partial underneath that low. If I had more than one micro on, that's definitely something I would have done, but we've mentioned that before it happened, so you would have got a nice exit there. And then not demanding the sell side to be reached. So, and I'll see y'all Friday. Love y'all, man. I'm gonna go get this edited and chat it up with y'all in the Discord. And I'll see y'all Friday. Peace.